Welcome to the Ethical Affiliate, the podcast that's all about living life on your own terms through the exciting world of ethical affiliate marketing. I'm your host, Ida.
And I'm Tim.
And in each episode, we'll be exploring the possibilities, strategies, and mindset shifts that can empower you to build a business that aligns with your values and allows you to design the life you've always dreamed of.
Join us as we share our journey and hear from industry experts and successful affiliate marketers who have embraced this new approach to business. Discover the strategies they use to navigate the ever-evolving digital landscape, build sustainable income streams, and most importantly, live life on their own terms.
So buckle up and get ready for a journey into the world of ethical affiliate marketing. This is the Ethical Affiliate, where we believe that living life on your own terms is not just a dream, it's a reality waiting to be created. Thanks for joining us, and let's dive in. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of the Ethical Affiliate. I'm Ida and my awesome co-host, Tim. How you going, Tim?
I'm well, thank you, Ida. What a fantastic and upbeat introduction it was.
Oh, you're funny.
Unlike me,
you got than last week.
Right.
Bloody hell.
Yes. Well,
No.
you go.
No, I'm always going. I'm always prattling off. Go. What were you going to say?
No, I said, unlike me, a few weeks ago, you actually got the number of podcasts correct, so that was good.
Oh, that's good, yes. Yes.
A bit of a trouble like that. When you've done so many, like we have.
Oh my God, so many. It'll be good. We're going to need to celebrate our 100th.
Yeah.
Episode.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to announce this, but because I was actually thinking about a different podcast. But what we might do is actually whack together a lot of little shorts or little excerpts from some of our podcasts and roll out one of those one day, eh?
Oh, that sounds great.
Maybe
that could be fun.
Some snippets.
So this week we are just shooting the breeze. We're having one of those episodes where we're just kind of talking about how life has been going and what we've been up to. It's more of a get to know us episode. Isn't that right?
Oh, I love it. Great. That's good. Yes. We've got some interviews coming up, so that'll be a different way of doing things. And what did we decide? Every couple of weeks we'll do some interviews, and every other time we'll do a shooting the breeze, and then talking about affiliate marketing, something like that. It's a mix and match, folks.
We'll figure it out.
It's a cake.
Yes. So what's been happening, Tim?
Well, I am currently in a new location, just for something completely different. Only for a shortish time. I'm in Mosman Park in Perth. Nice. Which is a beautiful suburb of Perth by the river. And I stand out on the deck out here. I can just see the river through the trees.
Nice.
I'm minding I was going to say a pug, but a French bulldog, similar.
Aww.
Who's fixated by the fireplace at the moment and won't move from there unless it's turned off. So apparently that's okay with the owners. In fact, they encourage it. So that's good. And funny, in the last place, they said, don't use the fire too much because it's expensive to run. And this lady said, just turn it on for Bruno, no problem. It's like, okay. Great.
Bruno. That's so cute.
So Bruno is one of these snuffling, it's like living with a wild boar. Well, actually, let's call it a pig. Well, a pig sounds terrible, doesn't it? More like a small boar.
Pigs are awesome.
Snuffles all the time and grunts and groans, and he's funny.
That's cute.
He's funny. But so that's sort of private life, I suppose, location-wise. Business has been posting regularly. I got had a video blocked by Facebook. Thank you, Facebook. Probably because I think I mentioned something like commissions are good in this business, and the AI decided that meant you're in business and making money to earn a living. So apparently that's not allowed. And we had that conversation this morning. It was like, well, what about all the other stuff that you read on Facebook? But anyway, it is what it is. You've got to work around the censorship and the restrictions sometimes.
Indeed, you do.
I do follow a guy who was doing a lot of talks about nutrition. He's a professor, highly qualified guy, and he had his whole channel taken down basically because he was talking against the way it is now. So he started again, but yeah, I don't know
Didn't
how
even started on all of that. Oh
the
my.
fingers reach out deeply. Other than that, yeah, things are going well actually. We're I think that, looking back on the business side of things, it's like, well, I'm glad I started when I did because there is a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of posts to be done. There's a lot of engaging with people. There's a lot of finding your own way.
Yeah,
And
there is.
if I hadn't started it a year ago, approximately this month, I would have been just starting now. And so it's always, whatever that Chinese proverb, which I think I mentioned last week or whenever it was, that if you don't, the best time is either 5 years ago or now, sort of
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just good to look back and go, oh, I've done all that work so far, and wherever you are in your journey, it might take 3 months, it might take 10 years, but you're following that curve and you're just getting towards that part where it starts looking that way, rising up. And
Ah,
I think we're at that point there. It's just the start of the curve.
it's so exciting, actually. I'm right there with you. You know, um, at a conversation, not conversation, on a huddle
Yeah.
earlier on when I first started, someone was speaking about you've got to enjoy this time where you're getting to know where you're learning. And I wish, like, I see that now. I see how, looking back on my learnings, um, being able to enjoy the process is so important. And actually, that's what Glennis was talking about. I don't know if it was a conversation we had outside the podcast, or if she was in the episode where she really enjoyed the process of learning, and that is half the battle, is letting go of your preconceived ideas and filtering through what you're told. Because looking back now, what I was told back then versus how I want to run things are really, really different. And it's a real process to get there. That's not to say that snippets of how I want to run things didn't present themselves. Evidently they did, because that's how I followed the trail. But finding who you are in this space is an interesting journey. And the more we talk about the importance of that and how that is kind of how you do things, and it's a long-term thing, the better it is for people to recognize that it's a really incredible business to be a part of if you're partnered with a great company and a great offer, which is stuff we talk about all the time. Yeah.
But it's good to know that you're going to be, look, maybe there's a rare person that knows who they are, but it's good to know, I think, that it is, yeah, we talk about it a lot because it's really important. It's a journey of discovery, and you're going to be finding out who you are or finding more about yourself in 12 months or 6 months, whatever it happens to be. So just expect that. And the knowledge and that, well, knowing that's going to happen allows you to go, okay, I don't have to follow this program, or maybe it doesn't feel right. So maybe there's a reason for that, because I'm a different person to what that person who wrote the program is, for example.
Yeah.
And that's really, and then your life does change. Your life changes outside of the business as well. We know that you've rediscovered walking on the beach and stuff like that. I'm by the bay, not the bay, because I was brought up on a bay by the river here with boats and stuff, and that's my thing. I grew up sailing and boat building, and so you go down there and you go, wow, I just feel really at home and peaceful here. And it's not just because you're on the water, that's part of it. It's just because this is your thing. It's like, yeah,
I completely agree.
you come around in a circle sometimes, or not sometimes.
Oh, sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's the first time for some of us, it's the first time we've ever had the opportunity to actually figure out what we really want, and without what's expected,
Mm.
and it's a tough one. It's a tough one to navigate through. Interesting. Got a couple of things I want to bring up today. I drove past a shipyard
Yeah.
uh, Oh my God, they're amazing where they build big ships. There's one out near Maitland,
Oh yeah.
Newcastle way, and it is phenomenal. And it just got me thinking about what an incredible race of people we are and what we have been able to construct. And these
Mm,
structural engineers, civil engineers, town planners, builders, brickies,
mm,
plumbers, tradies. We have, as a species, have built incredible, great things, and yet there's this underbelly of corruption. And, I watched the Panama Papers. This documentary's been around for a while, but I watched it the other day and I was just completely blown away and yet not at all surprised at how systemic corruption is, and how it's just how you do things to have an offshore account. And for leaders of countries to siphon money out. And I look at the people living in slums and I just think, oh my gosh. There was one woman, and anyone who watches this documentary will see, she was the secretary for the law firm that was, you know
yeah.
actually responsible for funneling this money. And she was made director of 10 shell companies, and clearly this woman was not in legitimate business because she was living in a slum. How can you be director of 10 companies and live in a slum? And the inequality there, like they basically used her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when shit hit the fan, she was left to defend herself. No one was there to look after her. And what does she know? She's a freaking secretary.
Mm, yeah.
She does what she's told. And she trusts that her bosses know what they're doing. Like it's a terrible abuse of power. And we see that everywhere.
We do.
And this is a way to change that. People like yourself and myself and the people that we are closely associated in our business, who are integral and honest and want to move forward in a way that's really ethical. We are needed in this world, especially in this space, you know.
I think that I think about that a lot, and it's very easy to get drawn into all that because there's a lot of it, a lot of it,
There is, yeah.
a lot of corruption, a lot of whatever you want to call it, unethical behaviour, bribery, money passing hands to get stuff done, and then lies and deceit on the outside. And I always think, because my interest in nutrition and health, that there's a lot of things that need to be changed with the sick care system and food and stuff. And it's like, I always reach out to people and go, you know what? There's more of us than them. There's always more of us than them.
Absolutely.
Good always prevails. It might take a long time. It may not take a long time, but there's way more people who are good in the world who want to live healthily or whatever, or make money, than there are these corrupt people. And
Absolutely. Well, these
they,
corrupt people are the top
it's
1% of the population because they've got all the money and the power,
legal
right?
by definition, exactly. By statistics, there's way more of us than them. And yes,
Yeah,
they have a lot of power, although
but
it's
not so.
kind of a
Really.
fake power. Yeah,
It's
they
fake
don't.
power. Exactly. It's fake power.
Yeah,
But it's
and it's
power
easy.
that we give as a collective.
We do, and it's easy. It's easy to say this, but I believe it's true that deep down, part of their action is because they're actually scared of what could happen if the rug gets pulled out from underneath them.
Of
Because
course they are.
when lies get revealed for what they are, some of these people have nowhere to hide at all. Yeah, they've got money and mansions or whatever. They can hide literally, but deep down as a person, they're kind of stuffed. So the last, and this is why things happen, because the last thing the powers that be want to happen is the people actually taking power. So all this is to prevent us taking back control of our lives and our finances and everything else. So, they're shit scared
Yes, they are.
in the background.
Yes.
Otherwise, it'd be like, why not spread the money around more? Well,
Ex-
you could take over. You could actually find out we've been lying. You could, let's cover all that up.
Yeah, absolutely. This documentary saw over 100 journalists working together in silence in great secrecy. And
Really?
that is unheard of in journalism. It's a
Yeah.
very cutthroat
Yeah.
industry. Everyone wants to scoop, but people in countries all over the world put their lives at risk
Yeah.
and came together. And till this day, they do not know they have not revealed their source who leaked all those papers. Now, those papers, that information that was leaked brought down governments. It was the president of Iceland resigned. The prime minister of the UK resigned. A bunch of them, I can't remember now. I was so shocked by it, but heads rolled.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
a very, very big wake-up call.
There you go.
And I'm seeing this more and more, especially in this space, and where people are really waking up to the fact that the only interest the government has in its people is to keep them under control.
Yeah.
Right? So we're given just enough to keep the middle class happy, right? Still a bit whingy, but we'll be grateful we got a roof over our head. Be grateful you got a roof. Be grateful you got a roof over your head. Be grateful you got a roof over your head. We are taught that. I believe in gratitude. I'm a big believer in the attitude of gratitude, but there's a difference in the attitude of gratitude and demonizing wanting more than just a roof over your fucking head, because that's our God-given right to have food and shelter, right? And whilst I am eternally grateful for the roof that is over my head. That doesn't mean that I can't strive for more, to be better, to want more control, to want more autonomy, to want to be able to make changes, good changes in the world. And it's so much easier to be bad than it is to be good. It's easy for us to destroy, so much harder for us to build. Building that took 6 months to construct can be destroyed in, a moment. So our work is cut out for us. But I have this saying that the path on the high road is a tough climb, but it's really worth the view when you get to the summit. And it's people that want to continue to do good in the world that actually keep things balanced, and you're right, there is more of us than there is of them, but because it's so much easier to be bad than it is to be good, a lot more destruction can occur a lot quicker than good can. You know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
so we've just got to keep moving forward. And I was going to say we got to keep up the fight, but the reality is that we got to actually stop fighting, and we have to start really honoring ourselves, and then being able to pay that forward by helping other people honor themselves and fostering a culture that promotes well-being and caring and compassion and boundaries, very firm boundaries, and self-accountability. Those things are really important to, creating a good society, being accountable, having a decent set of morals, and keeping things balanced. And we're so complex. We're such complex beings, Tim. Right? And again, so much easier to be bad than it is to be good. And a lot of the times it's more fun. It's not fun being good all the time,
Yeah, it seems to be a short-term thing though. It's
Well, that's it. It's the dopamine hit that you get from breaking.
yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, I know you're talking on several levels there, but it's almost like even civilizations that turn bad eventually fail, and
I
then
do, of
a
course.
long period of good, and then the rise again of the controllers and the people who the power corruption takes over. But that last bit is a short bit, and now we've got things like the internet. I mean, imagine what it was like before the printing press was invented and all that. The way control was people were able to control because no one was educated or told anything at all. Now, when YouTube bans a channel, there's a dozen other YouTubes, albeit much smaller, where you can go and start up where you're not censored. Now, yeah,
That's
okay,
right.
you're not going to get the traction, but they're there and they'll never be shut down permanently. So
That's right.
you have a lot to be thankful for there. There's
And
always, it's our choice to be on Facebook and YouTube, for example, of two of them. You can
yeah,
always, I've always said this since I was involved in IT and websites were a thing, which is a long time now, that you need your own website. And so this is not about, ethical affiliate marketing. This is about if you're a person and you want to make a talk, take a stand in the world, you need your own piece of real estate where
you do.
you can't be shut down. Yeah, ultimately, I suppose you could be, but it's a hell of a process that would never happen, probably. Where you can go and say, this is what I want to talk about. I can talk about anything I like in the world here. No one's controlling me. It's my own website, for example, blogs or something like that. Yeah, okay. Go to YouTube, be
Well,
there
yeah.
as well.
Interestingly enough, though, the blogs, this is again back to the Panama Papers. This one woman started a blog
Mm.
and she was speaking up about corruption and whatnot, and they killed her.
Not sure.
My point is that I don't know what my point was. I think my point was that
Well,
no matter
they killed Osama bin Laden as well. So
that's
it doesn't matter whether you're on the right side of good or bad. If you
yeah,
take a stand, that's the risk.
that's exactly that was exactly my
Not
point.
not for most people, but it's not that such a risk. But look at what's his name, who was jailed for revealing papers.
Snowden.
Yeah, yeah, or people like that. The other guy I was thinking of, but
Oh,
yeah,
whistleblower. Oh, Assange, Julian
any,
Assange.
yeah, any whistleblowers, yeah, yeah. No, maybe there's legitimate things that shouldn't be told to the public, but there's a lot of stuff that's just not allowed. You can't go look. This is a silly example, but if you wanted to say go to a shopping centre and just film a shop, even with the owner's permission of the shop, so I just want a beautiful display because it's privately owned. A security guy will come along and say, "Oh, you can't film here." It's like that's just a control thing. Because why? There's no rhyme or reason for that at all. They might be in their heads as a bureaucracy or control, but it just makes no sense at all. There's a lot of stuff that goes on like that. It's just
Yeah,
a control thing.
it is. It's very much a control thing.
No
It's
reason.
so complex. The structure is so complex, our social construct, and it's
Yeah.
definitely changing. It is definitely changing. And I think people are starting to wake up to the fact that we're we're not governments are not really acting in our best interest, really, you know, especially when you look at how they handle the money. Malcolm Turnbull, he wasn't spoken about in the Panama Papers, but his face and his name definitely showed up in it.
He's a banker. He was a banker.
Yeah.
That's where he
It's
came
like,
from. Yeah.
it's like, oh God. Oh,
He was one of the most ineffective prime ministers we've ever had, despite all the talk. Kind of went nowhere.
well, what prime minister has gone somewhere
Well, not for
with
a long time. Yeah.
Paul
Yeah,
off with the
strangely
made
enough, back in the day, they took a stand and they did what they did, but now they can't even take a stand because it's like most people, most organisations, they're trying to balance all this. Oh, we don't want to hurt people. We don't want to say the wrong thing. We've got all these different factions to deal
Where do
with.
you draw the
No
line?
one, it's just stuck in mud.
Yeah, where do you draw the line? Where's the line, Tim?
What line? What is the line?
Exactly, what is the line? What is the line?
I was in
Bloody
the
lines, mate.
I was in the supermarket yesterday, and it's like these announcements come over the loudspeakers, going, "Oh, dear customer, please take care of yourself. If you're planning to lift anything, make sure you do it in the right way. You know what it is, bend the knees. And if you feel something's too heavy, please ask a staff member. Now, I'll tell you what, the staff member is not going to help you either, really. Please ask a staff member because we look after our customers, blah, blah, blah. And then it was 10 minutes later, oh, please be respectful for our employees, and any sort of abuse or verbal language will, be taken as an insult, blah, 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 and so on. It's like, God, you don't want to say anything to anybody anymore. It's like, you can't even say, I can't find the such and such. And they'll go, oh, I'm being abused, It's like,
Yeah,
wow, I think it's gone a bit far. The customer's
maybe.
trained not to say anything. The customer's trained. If that's not like, oh, let's make sure the customer don't actually complain about anything because we can abuse them. We can accuse them of verbal abuse. It's like, well, you just shut down any customers not happy with your company because you
No,
can't say
I
a thing.
don't know if I agree with that, having
You're
worked
right.
in the shop industry, in the grocery industry. And what I witnessed during COVID was insane.
Oh, I
People,
get that. I get that. But we're well past that now.
you would be surprised that people constantly need reminding, because we have idiots in the world that think it's okay to be abusive and treat people like shit. In fact, I witnessed it yesterday on my way home, where a person who, refused to pay for something for whatever reason,
Yeah.
proceeded to call the shop assistant a maggot and told him to go back to his own fucking country. I mean, granted that you would like to think these things are anomalies, but for that to come over the loudspeaker, that would give me pause for thought. It would make me think, why do they feel the need to do that? Like, at one point, I was seeing badges on employees saying, I'm a mother, I'm a brother, I'm a person. It's like there needed to be that reminder that people working behind the counter are people, because, us humans can get really aggressive. I mean, like I said, granted, they're anomalies, but you go to some areas, Tim, and that's normality.
Mm.
It's normal to be abused and shouted at, and it's not okay. So I think
That's not okay. I
they
agree.
do this blanket thing, and it's sort of, you know there's a difference between being abusive and making a complaint. You can make a complaint without
Correct.
being, and I think that's the point that you're saying, that it's getting to the point where you can't even make a complaint. Am I right?
Well, you'd have to think about how you structure it, what you say, everything else. Yes, yes. Well, the result
Yeah,
is
you
that we
do.
don't have any complaints anymore, I suspect, because
Yes. Well, people can't be bothered.
people would be worried about what they can say and what they can't say. You can't, it's the same thing with the problem with sexual harassment in the workforce. Now, again, it's not a good thing at all. But now you can't even put your finger on someone's shoulder so they turn around and see you, because that could be taken the wrong way. You're not allowed to do stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I think it's gone a
Right.
bit far. How do
Yeah.
people, where most people meet and have relationships and settle down and get married? From workforce. How is that ever going to happen anymore? You can't even say to a woman as a man, oh, do you want to have a cup of coffee? If that's taken the wrong way, or someone else hears it, that could be taken as sexual harassment. It's like, that's insane.
Yeah, it is
We're
insane.
adults. We're adults. The woman or the man even sometimes could say, oh, I'd rather you didn't touch me, or whatever, or no, I don't want to have a cup of coffee. Where's that responsibility taken out of the workforce for the people?
Accountability
HR
and
is running.
boundaries. Yeah, look, people don't feel comfortable standing their ground, but
That's
accountability. This is, we need to be accountable for ourselves. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no, thank you.
yeah. And obviously, 99% of the time, that's taken it for what it is. No, thank you means no, thank you.
That's right. And it's nuanced. Someone can tap you on the shoulder and go, oh, hey, do you want to have a cup of coffee? Or someone can tap you on the shoulder and go, hey,
Yeah,
tea?
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know
Of
what I
course.
mean? So it's all of that sort of stuff. But even then, even if I went up to them and said, hey, want to have a cup of coffee? And that was taken the wrong way, I'd be mortified.
Oh yeah, the other way around.
I better not say anything. So, hence your point of how do people meet? Dating sites. That's how. And then you get, that's a whole other freaking conversation. One which I'm definitely thankful that I don't.
Yeah,
I think
exactly. Me too.
if my relationship broke down, I'd just be single for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Oddly enough, there's an underlying, again, it's like what we were referring to before. There's an underlying current, because I've seen this on Facebook, as you probably have. People talk about stuff like this, and a lot of people chime in and go, it's just crazy. It is just insane. So you wonder where it's coming from, because a lot of people think like wokeism is just ridiculous. And a lot of people, but yet quite a few people are afraid. Well, it's actually self-perpetuating, isn't it? You're afraid to speak out about it because you'll be bombed by people who think woke sort of stuff is a good thing. And yet there's an underlying current of probably in the majority of the world who think it's just nuts. It is just nuts. And in fact, there's a couple of guys, oh, not a couple of guys, two actors started an anti-woke actors guild sort of thing, where they just won't have anything to do with that. They're not stereotyping, but they're also not, they're just picking actors for who they are, actors, not because they need to be black or they need to be Asian or need to be something else, all this other stuff. It's like, you're actually choosing
What
people
actors?
for their qualities. What's that?
What actors?
One I knew and I can't remember. He'll come back. He'll come back. Who was it? Yeah, anyway. So, I thought, oh, well, but I know Jordan Peterson speaks about this all the time. It's just, when people like that in high levels talk about it a lot, people start going, yeah, actually, that's what they need. They need the support. They need someone up there going, this is
Jordan.
crazy. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He's right. It is crazy. Let's not put up with it any longer. And so things change. You need leadership. That's leadership. It's leadership. People who are prepared to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Which is why we do this. The ethical
Yes.
affiliate, circling back to that, is to tell people that we're speaking out against unethical business dealings and stuff like that as much as we
Yeah.
can. It's not
Yeah.
all this. There's a lot of it that isn't. Most of it isn't, folks. Most business is not unethical.
Yeah. Well, the unethical, it's in how the business is run, isn't it? And I mean, Jesus, you look at our phones. I can't even. Oh my God, it's on all levels. The terror is everywhere. The terror is everywhere, and we're so intertwined with
What's
it.
on the phones? What's happened with the phones?
I'm kidding. This is a way out through
Right.
associating yourself with really reputable products and brands that
Yes.
are ethical in their production and have ethical values and the truth is we're never really going to know the ins and outs of the duck's bum, and how a corporation or company is run. We've just got to go with the information that is available to us and trust our gut.
Yes.
Which brings us back to the self, because it always comes back to the self.
That's it.
Wherever you go, there you are.
So true. There's always a mirror shining at you, isn't there?
There is indeed.
All right, Ida, anything else to offer in that vast, sweeping array of discussion?
Not really. I'm going in for an operation tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to it.
You'll be fine.
I know.
It's a keyhole thing, kind of keyhole thing, is it? You know?
Pardon?
Is it a keyhole surgery?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, overnight stay. Yeah. So it's the first time I've ever really been nervous about an op. I don't normally get nervous,
Yeah.
but I'm a little bit, but that's all right. It'll be fine. It's very routine,
Yeah.
done all the time. I have faith in the surgeon. So yeah, that's going to be my world.
You'll be the better for it. What's the recovery on that?
6 to 12 months.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So volleyball's out at the moment.
Oh, mate.
It was out. It was out a long time ago.
Yes. Yeah, but it's interesting how I see like my body from the first time I damaged my shoulder was from a really heavy fall at work. And the left side of my body has not been the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's been and more so lately. I don't know if it's because of the cold weather, but oh my God, my lower back and my hip. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm too young to be feeling this way. It's been a real wake up call for my
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
because I've always been quite strong, you
Yeah.
know, and I've always carried extra weight, but I've always been really strong and quite healthy. I've never really had
Yeah.
anything major. Um, but now as I'm getting older, and I'm not that old. I'm 54 this year, so I'm not that old. I think I'm too young to be feeling what I'm feeling and going through what I'm going through.
Sure.
So I'm realizing that my body is starting to really deteriorate. And if I don't get things sorted now, then I've already done the damage. The damage is already there, so I can't change that.
Yeah.
Now I'm in damage control.
Yeah.
So, you know,
It's
it's
good to
that's
realise it now
well,
because it just gets harder.
I'm a little bit annoyed at myself, and I'm not going to dwell on it, obviously, but you know, when you're young, you think, I'm not going to worry about it. No, I'm not going to worry about it. No, my body, because your body just bounces back, bang, just like that,
Yeah.
you know, and then suddenly you're like, oh, no, it doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't do that
Yeah.
anymore. The body's
Yeah. You pay the price,
like
but
you.
there's always a lot of gains to be had when you start looking after yourself at any age. Actually,
Oh my God, I'm so determined to get past this.
that's not an
And
excuse, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
you're realizing at a young age that you need to get onto it, and that's great. But even if
yeah.
you're 80, you still can make amazing differences. Obviously, not not as good as maintaining your body all life, but it's a
Mm,
good thing. But yeah,
yeah.
I was going to say to you that, and you'd know this, I'm sure, but because the body has fascia running through it, that even if you damage your shoulder, your whole body's going to be thrown out of balance, and things are going to happen all over the place,
It
and just
is.
get worse
My
and
other
worse.
shoulder's getting bad now. So
Yeah,
eventually that's going to have to be taken care of. And
yeah,
it's a whole thing. It's a whole freaking thing.
yeah.
And very sobering. So tomorrow is the first step towards healing. You know,
Excellent,
get shoulder repaired, do my physio slowly and get myself back up to speed.
awesome,
I know I'm not going to be able to do what I used to do, but I'll get it as close to as I possibly can, as my physical body will allow.
great.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
I can't wait to hear you as you come out of the what is it, anesthesia.
Oh, theatre. Oh, God knows what will come out of my mouth.
Some posts.
Knows, yeah.
The Facebook will know.
Flying high.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This was
Thank
episode
you.
24 of the Ethical Affiliates.
25.
Oh my God, 25. Right. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, 25. So that'll be 26 next, won't it? Yeah, that's right.
It
Good.
will. I'm excited.
Awesome.
How
Do
awesome.
we have an interview for that one, or we're not sure yet?
I don't know. I
Okay.
think we probably will have, but if not, something great will come of
Yep.
it.
Awesome. Please subscribe, like, share, love, etc., etc. Our numbers
Super.
are slowly rising, and we're grateful that everyone's here.
Yes, we are so grateful. Thank you so much, everyone. Have an awesome rest of the week. And we'll
Thank you,
talk
Ida.
soon.
You too.
Okay.
See
See
ya.
ya.
Bye.